Welcome guys to Fantasy HQ and another episode of NRL Fantasy Gurus. Guys, guess what?
What's that, mate?
Woody's back. Yes! Woo! Pull it back, Mitch. No one wants to see that. Yes, Woody's back. Exciting week. We had some great performances this week. You know, great wins from like Rabbitohs.
Yeah. The Storm.
The Storm.
Eels.
Don't want to talk about the Sharks.
Rob.
Don't want to talk about it. Thanks, Edric Lee. We also had a great performance from the Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors really showed up. That obviously, you know, some serious things happened over there in Christchurch. And, you know, they play with a bit of passion. And we just, you know, our hearts and prayers go out to you guys over there in Christchurch. We have a couple of New Zealand watchers. So I just want to make sure that all you guys who are over there and affected, that just know that our hearts and prayers go out to you guys. And we hope that you're all safe.
Definitely. We're going to head over to Mitch to start things off. We have our Fantasy Gurus Player of the Week.
Look, we all love a big man in open space, and there's no bigger than Jason Tamalolo. It's pretty impressive numbers he put up this week. 2 line breaks, 7 tackle busts, 1 try assist, 286 run meters. That's just fantasy points right there.
Yeah.
Mate, that's bulk points.
That's bulk.
He wasn't the best scorer of the week. Those honours go to Brendan Tamo, but like just watching him play, Tamalolo getting back to his beast mode.
He's a wrecking ball, and who doesn't love a big man in space? Let's be honest.
And then we'll push it over to Red for our brand new segment.
Yeah, we've got a new segment that we're going to start trying to roll out each and every week to you guys. It is called Wall Street. So it's all about player stocks. Who's going up, who's going down, what to hold on, what to sell on. We're going to talk about it all here and now. First, we're going to start off with buys. Herms, who's your buy of the week, mate?
Well, I didn't have him, and I regretted it. And you had him in your team, and I didn't bring him in. And
I love that subtle smug face right there.
It's Gillette. I think.
Wait, you mean the best the man can get?
The best the man can get, Gillette. I regret not having him, and when you know, that forward pack, I didn't know how I was going to shuffle. I was like, I'll leave it, but as soon as I watched him play, man, he was getting into the tackles. He looked great in the middle. He looked like he belonged. Of course, a suspension to
Lodge.
Thank you. For 2 weeks, brings Pangai Jr. back into the team, but prop forward, so Gillette will hold that middle spot. I think he's a must bring in. 57 tackles, 60 fantasy points. He didn't run that all often, but he didn't need to. Like, it was just all base stats. It was great. Him and McCulloch in the middle were great. I actually thought McCulloch's points dropped off a lot when he went off the field.
Yeah.
Now, he did look tired, but dead tired.
Yeah, Matt Gillette was out on his feet.
Well, let's be honest.
First week back.
Yeah, first week back after serious injuries. He's lacking a bit of match fitness. It's only going to get better.
But yeah, my buy of the week, Matt Gillette.
It's a good one.
I'll definitely force him into my teams.
Okay, good to know.
How about you, Mitch? Who's your buy of the week?
For me, I was lucky enough to have him. I had him originally, John Bateman from the Raiders. I was only lucky enough to watch half this game, but he did some amazing things in the half I watched. Plenty of tackle breaks, plenty of involvements, good run meters. As well as that, he's cheap at the moment. It looks like he's going to be a dead set keeper for the season. And if you do want to bring him in, now's the time to do it. While he's about as low as he's going to get. As well as that, he's DPP.
Yeah.
You can always slot him into that trouble position of centre.
Well, is it a trouble position this year? Not really.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit full.
At the moment, it's good with a few cash cows, but yeah, we'll wait and see on that.
Yeah, my buy of the week, Michael Morgan. You
That's
know,
a good
I did talk him up a little bit. I do believe he was a really good buy at the start before even round 1, but you know, he proved that he's really taken control of that team again. He was on fire. Looked exactly like he did when JT was out 2 years ago, took him to the grand final. And he's actually a really good time to buy. If you can get him now, over the next 3 weeks, if he averages about 40, which is pretty standard for a dominant half.
Isn't he? He's just under 500.
Yeah, and he's going to end up picking you up another 92k over the next 3 weeks. That's if he averages just 40. Now, if he can go somewhere beyond that, like, you know, sky's the limit for that guy, and his break-even's only 5. So even just this week alone, he's guaranteed to make you money. And he's got a pretty good matchup this week against the Broncos in the Derby, so I'm looking forward to. I think there's going to be a lot of feel in that.
Yeah,
I think a lot of field position is going to be paramount, so I think a lot of kick meters are going to come from him too.
Great pick.
So then we're going to jump into sells. Mitch, we're going to throw it to you first. We're skipping you.
Yeah.
Good choice. Let's just cut him out altogether. My sells, I think it's a bit of a contentious one maybe. Kalen Ponga. Look, Big fan of him as a player, not a fan of him as 5'8". And I think, look, he got 34 points.
You don't think he'll pick up the same form as him at fullback?
Nah.
Yeah, he has the ball in his hands a lot more, but Pierce was everywhere in that game. Pierce was dominant, and I think that's only going to affect him further and further. He's just going to keep losing you money. So, yeah,
we thought maybe they'd be side-to-side players, but Pierce was roaming, so
Pierce was
taking the ball out of Ponga's hands just a little bit more. I'll go with mine, Paul Gallen. I think it hurts me. It hurts me to say, but he's a great player. I still love him to death, but he's aging. Fantasy-wise, he's not the fantasy god he once was. He had 42 minutes.
He's not the halfback he once was.
Yeah. Yeah, only had 72 metres, and I can't
that's
remember the
shocking.
last time a Gallen, only had 72 metres with 0 offloads. Like, that is his main weapon, his offload, and he didn't even do one. So, I just think, if you want to sell, if you have him, you got to get rid of him. There's so many great mid-range second row options this year, like Gillett, like Bateman, like Gardner. There's just so many good options. So, get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Wow, just blunt. I'm going to hit you with mine. Mine is quite controversial. I'm going to go with Latrell Mitchell.
What?
Relax. It was okay. One bad week, yes, but we
Wasn't
spoke
even
about
that
it.
bad.
No, look, it wasn't that bad. Look, but I just want to say, like we were talking just a second ago about how thick the dual DPP is for second row and centre. You can have players like Capewell, Nakora. You can even have Bird in there, who I think did really well.
He did.
And there's a lot of guys in there who are playing second row who can play at centre. I think it's a huge amount of money to have in one guy when you can get guys all under 450k getting just as many, if not more, points than him. So I know controversial, 36% of you will disagree with me because that's many of you own him, but I just think that is just, I think centre is normally one of the weakest positions. I think it's actually one of the strongest positions this year. With that many second rowers as DPPs, I think you just got to have second rowers in there that you can afford.
Yeah. So I'm out of use, another one. That's going to slot in there. How about some buyer bewares, boys?
Buyer bewares, huh?
And I'm just going to point out the obvious. Chris Kennedy agrees with me year in, year out. Our friend Chris Kennedy. Mitch Orbison. I just think beware, people might be considering bringing him in. Crichton's still on the bench. I think Crichton can still come into the starting team this week. So there's your first signs.
If it's not this week, it's going to be next week or the week after.
Now he's got a super low break even this week, which might tempt people, but he's just been that classic Roosters, we'll put him where we need him guy. He's just, I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the bench this week. So, you might be tempted. He got the try, 76 points, great week, but beware.
I myself went for Nathan Peets. Look, I love PT. He's a wholehearted player, did a lot of great things to this great club. We didn't do much good by him. But he had a blinder of a game the other day, but it was an absolute bludger of a game. Like, that ball wasn't moved around that much. It was like near monsoonal conditions up there. So a lot of that was through the middle. So obviously, your middle guys are going to dominate the tackles. And as well as that, they lost the utility on the bench when Tyrone Roberts went down.
Yep.
So
I almost would have definitely slotted into that hooker position.
Definitely at some point we would have got there 15-20 minutes, like minimum.
Yep.
So I think PT's a great player. He'd probably be a 60-minute player every week. But I wouldn't be rushing out to bring him in personally.
Yeah, and there's a lot of other hookers out there that are going to play the same amount of minutes, probably the same amount of points. And Mitch Rain's always looming around there. Like, you just never know.
He might get 80 minutes the next few weeks just because of how many halves injuries they have. But once everyone's healthy, expect him to drop in minutes.
Yeah, no, I agree. Mine's Wade Egan. Look, the guy started only because of an injury prior to the game.
Concussion to Katoa.
Yeah, so Katoa got concussed, Wade Egan started, and he had a try. Like, you can't expect those kinds of points every single week from that guy. Don't get me wrong, I love him. I think later in the season he will be starting. I think he's something that just, beware of it now. Don't go rushing to bring him in just because he's relatively cheap and playing at hooker, because he's actually on the bench this week as well. So definitely beware. Just be very cautious before you jump into that trap. All right, now we've got another one. We're calling it Hold the Phone. Herms.
I
We're skipping you. Who's your hold the phone, Mitch?
Mine is my pump the brakes, as I like to call it, is Angus Crichton. If you have him, sell him. If you want to bring him in, wait a couple of weeks, because that boy, his break even is 82 this week.
It's huge.
And you know, let's say he averages 40, well, it's nearly $160,000 in value he's going to drop. So wait a couple of weeks, bring him into your team, thank me later.
Wow, confidence, I love it. I'm going to hit you with mine. Hold the phone. Marty Tapau. Didn't quite get the minutes he deserved. Didn't quite get the points that he normally does. But that's because this guy who normally has many offloads a game had 0. Who has quite a few tackle breaks in him, only had 1. And only 74 metres. So, hold the phone on him. Give it a chance, because I got a feeling if you got him, there's no need to sell him right now. Just hang on to him. He's going to get more points with Adam Fanua Blake out at least for a week, and then they're still sort of figuring things out there at Manly. I think he's going to get a lot more time once he figures out what's going on.
Well, I'm going to go with Tedesco, who burned all of us.
Yeah, he's...
Like we all had him. He got us 18 points. You know, we even had people in the comment section say, "Don't get Teddy," and we didn't listen. So
sorry.
We all brought him in. I think we had a wet game. Wasn't a lot of balls spread to the backs. He didn't have his chance to usually sign. If you have him, don't sell him. He's a fantasy must. Still in our eyes, he'll pick it back up. It was a down night for him. So just hold him. If you don't have him, don't bring him in yet. Wait till he drops a bit. He will drop in price. But yes, he will get back to that near $800,000 mark at some point. And hopefully he gives us a big game this week to make up for the 18 points last week.
I think he's due for a 100-point game, personally.
Look, I wouldn't say no.
Now we had some injuries this week. I'm going to head over to Mitch, the quick injury report that affects fantasies.
I'll just touch on a few quick ones. Nathan Brown from Parramatta. We all love Brownie.
Love Brownie.
Unfortunately, he tore his pec and he doesn't look like he's back to round 14. Another player we all love is Tyson Frizzell. I think this only about 5 to 6 weeks, but at the moment it's indefinite.
You never know with a testicle. And look, I'm telling you now, you just don't put them on the line. If you have a ruptured nut, don't play.
Sit it out.
For God's sakes, man, don't play.
Do it for the nut.
No nut November.
Moving right on. The Titans halves, it's a bit of a unknown up there at the moment. Ash Taylor and Tyron Roberts look like they're both out this week, so it looks like they have Brimson and Riley Jacks playing.
Yeah,
Riley Jacks have a team.
But yeah, I wouldn't be rushing out to bring them in or kick someone out. We don't really know. It's a bit of an unknown up there at the moment. And Saleh from the Panthers, suspected broken arm, all cleared, back this week.
Yeah, I brought him in last minute when I saw he was starting, and I thought he broke his arm. I was really worried.
It was actually a bit of a cash cow, like cheap as chips, and he scored 16 points in 17 minutes or something.
Yeah, and now they're starting him a lock, and they're moving Fisher Harris to second row. Who Fisher Harris did actually have a great game last.
But then also, if you do want to bring him in, Kikau's only about 2 weeks away, so he will take the spot.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
All right, now our league. Red. How'd we go?
How'd we go? Look, the Fantasy Gurus, we have a big league, and like we said earlier, there's quite a fair few New Zealanders out there who had some rockin' weeks. The Warriors had some absolutely standout performers, and we know you guys like to stack your team with those guys. So right now, we're sitting not very pretty, but we're planning to get right up there with you lads. Hopefully the Warriors, look, we don't want you to lose, but...
when you play Para, they do lose.
Yeah, please, and Melbourne. And Zach Day will see you then.
And the
Not
guy leading...
Sharks, though. No one gets Sharks.
Everyone gets Sharks. The guy leading our league, Mad Mary. He was in front for a really long time, and then they had the points adjustment, and he actually got grubbed of the win. I actually thought he was going to win. I was so stoked we had the winner. I thought, wow, our league's got the #1 guy, and he kind of got grubbed at the end there. So he's 5th overall in the entire Australia. So
yeah,
props to you, Mad Mary. So big shout out to you.
Can we get some pointers?
Guest appearances.
We'll take him.
Come on, Mad Mary. So yeah, that was our week in fantasy. It was a great week. We actually were pretty happy with our starting week scores. You know, we're building cash. So thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting.
That's his bit.
You stuffed it.
I usually go to you for that.
It's alright, mate.
Hit us
Mitch.
up with it, Mitch. Give us it right.
What can they do?
Not go to you. But you can like, subscribe, comment.
See, he does it every time.
Yeah, no,
He
okay.
kills it.
That's always bit.
Yeah.
And also check out our Instagram, which is right
It's probably over my face.
near his Frizzell.
Well, him and Noddy can be friends.
But thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys next week.
Next week.
Cheers,
Cheers,
lads.
boys.
Subscribe.